I want all of our friends and family to share this on Instagram and TikTok.
Okay, here we go. So the discussion was about what do I do? I'm coaching at a certain level, and I want to try to help my players. I'm a junior, a coach of a junior B program, coaching up in the Capital District in Manitoba. So there's a lot of moving parts of this, and there's some very good information coming out. But a couple things I wanted to point out, and I started to write this, and some of this actually made it on. Onto the discussion group, and I'll kind of talk about a couple of the notes that I put up. One of the things I was saying is, this is a very difficult situation for a coach. Junior B or Tier 3, lower level Tier 3 in the United States is the same way. Where is your responsibility and where's the player's responsibility? How much, is compelled as you are to help, how much can you help, and really what should you be doing? I can tell you that when we owned a higher level junior team and we owned a lower level Tier 3 junior team and we had 16 and 18, I was very involved with the 18 team and with the lower level junior team. And I was just GMing our top level junior team. And at times I would get all flustered and frustrated because I would look at some of my players and go, oh, they could play on the top junior team. Of course they can. So we'd let them go up for a game and they were, or even sometimes just practices, and they were completely a fish out of water because they weren't ready for the jump. So, part of this is to make sure that, there's got to be some triangulation. That's why my coaching staff of the top junior team would always kind of help me. They would look at the player and go, yeah, maybe not coach, or maybe, because it wasn't that I can't assess talent. It's just that I got so entrenched and so, basically involved with my own talent, with my own players at 18s or at the junior level, that I did not. I started getting blinders on. I started getting very biased towards my players. So part of the process is trying to find a way to triangulate, having some people outside of your organization help you assess talent, because we're all passionate about our own players. But the other part of that is that what's very successful is teaching players how to fish. You've heard the old proverb, biblical proverb about teach a man to fish versus giving him a fish. Well, that's the same thing with players, making sure that they understand that, hey, they can have the greatest coach, and Murray, you could be the greatest coach, and I hope you are. That's awesome. But you can have the greatest coach. You can have an advisor. You can have a dad or a mom that's extremely involved in hockey and gets it. But man, got to work on my collars here. Should have got dressed up for this, but I didn't have time. My shirt's all over the place. But getting back to the coaches and advisors, their job is limited. Their job is extremely limited. But you, as a player, can step up to the plate in many ways. One way is looking at this as more of a long-term marketing plan. Okay, in marketing, you are taught that you use multiple mediums. You use multiple drips. It's not, marketing and sales are very similar in that respect. I cannot expect to send one email out to a coach or have my coach send one email out and have success and have everything fall in place. So, but let's back up a little bit before that. Before we even get into that, it's the self-evaluation and realization of what I am as a player, not just the coach. So not only does the coach have to have realistic aspirations for his players, but the player and the parents have to have realistic aspirations. Meaning, if I'm playing in the league that Murray's coaching in, I really shouldn't be going, hey, look, I really got to be trying to get on Trail Smoke, which is in the BCHL. I really need to be playing for Green Bay in the USHL. And I'm only going to focus on those two teams. That's not going to happen. It's not a process that is a good jump. Looking one step above and putting yourself into a situation where you're moving up. So it might be the MJHL, and Murray mentioned that some of his players are going to the SIJHL for tryouts and the MJ and the Saskatchewan League too. That's great. That's an appropriate step up for most players, and especially the young players. But with that said, did I die here? Am I still alive or not? It looks like I'm live, but on my screen, I'm looking like I'm locked. So I'm going to assume I'm still live, and if not, I'll fix it later. So I'm going to Just give me a second here to see if this is popping up as a live broadcast. Well, it looks like I'm live, so maybe give me a comment there if anybody's on watching. I know I've only got about 8 to 10 people watching live. I didn't expect to have a lot of people watching live. So that's part of it. One of the things I'm going to offer the group is, I'm going to offer my my webinar series again for free on just walking through setting your goals, your goals and aspirations. Now, this is a little bit different than the way most people go about this because we break this down into several different areas. We break this down into setting, very similar to, I'm an MBA. So I look at this from a business model. In the business law, thanks for letting me know, guys. I see some comments coming in. I appreciate you guys letting me know that I'm live. We're going to look at this from a marketing mix. We're going to look at this from a SWOT analysis, which is a strength, weakness, opportunity, threat analysis. We're going to look at doing some reverse engineering of our goals. And we're going to put this all together in an assessment for you. So if you actually take the time to walk through this process, you're going to have an evaluation of yourself and know how to put yourself together for marketing purposes. So I'm going to put that out just for this discussion group, and I don't know how I'm going to do it yet because this is a product that I normally sell, and I'm going to give it to you for free on this. And Murray, feel free to let your parents use this and your players. And one of the things I suggested to Murray on this situation was, hey, look, you're not everything, you're a coach. But what you can do is you can teach them to fish. And how you do that is, I found a lot of success, and I see a lot of good programs out there, USHL, BCHL, teaching their players inside their program how to properly handle themselves for Division I coaches, for NHL scouts, for anything that's the next step up. And for us, what we did was we put together these little 15 or 20 mini sessions that were not mandatory. That was the biggest thing, is they're not mandatory. But as a coach, walk them through how to present themselves at the rink properly. How to look somebody in the eye, how to shake their hand properly. I've got a if you go to juniorhockey.com, I've got a written piece that talks about one of my former students inside of our program that went into the USHL. He went from 16s to the USHL to the University of Michigan in like 24 months. And he did not expect to be there. In fact, he got into the University of Michigan. He had to finish his whole senior year. He was a junior in high school, had to finish his whole senior year online over the summer before he entered Michigan as a freshman. Michigan was losing a goalie to the NHL unexpectedly early. The kid had a really good year. All of a sudden, this player got thrust up into it. His name's Billy Sauer, great kid, great young man now, and he's working in the industry. Now, I bring that up because Billy's situation was he presented himself extremely well. He was being interviewed by me on the radio, and my former coach was the next guest in queue, Red Berenson. Red Berenson from Michigan heard him on the interview and said, I like the way he presents himself. Boom. They had one of their coaches out watching one of his games. He was not on the radar. He had not had any contact with a Division I program at that point. And then all of a sudden he's got an offer. He's committed. And the next fall he's starting at the University of Michigan, all because he presented himself well. You usually only have one shot. And I mentioned in the comments that I put on this online on our discussion group is, hey, there's lots of research out there dealing with HR, human resources, and the interview process and the resume process. You've got seconds to actually present yourself well. So if you're on a conversation with a coach on the phone, it's got to be direct. It's got to be no hems and haws. It can't be ums. It's got to, this is a process that coaches can teach. You can spend 15 minutes and say, all right, let's talk about when you walk in the rink or when you identify a coach that you want to talk to or he approaches you. How do you want to handle that? And talk about, squaring up your shoulders, standing flat-footed, not fidgeting, shaking your hand firm, looking them in the eye, giving them direct answers, and then, listening properly to whatever the questions are. That can be taught in 15 minutes. Or at least it can be reviewed and covered in 15 minutes. I'm not sure if you're going to turn everybody into great, Carnegie speakers in 15 minutes, but it's absolutely worth doing as a coach. Then the next week, maybe your discussion is emails and proper email etiquette. Then the next week, it's about social media. But by the time you're done, you've covered all the marketing mix of how you should get a hold of a player, and it's well worth it. It's well worth going through the process as a coach. Now, this doesn't work unless there's a true assessment of talent, meaning we got to go back to that situation. If I'm a junior B player in Canada, I'm not reaching out to the BCHL. That's probably a leap that's way too far. So you as a parent, if you're listening to this right now, getting a good self-assessment, getting that triangulation built on what is a realistic jump to the next level. It's not restricting your upward mobility, but it's saying, hey, look, I can't leap 2 or 3 steps. I've got to leap 1 step to make it to the next level. So that's extremely important. So let me look at my notes and see if there's anything else I wanted to cover. Keeping things brief and to the point. The conversation came up a little bit about video and people, trading off videos as family members. Remember, if you're playing juniors, a lot of times family isn't there, especially the older the players get, there's less family in the stands. So having a rotation of parents usually are not as friendly, or they could be very friendly and polite. But remember, everybody is working to move and achieve their goals. Not everybody shows up, nor does everybody really want to get to know the group, especially if you've been in juniors for a little bit where you've been traded, you've moved through the process a little bit. It's a little bit hard to crack the outer shell of parents at the junior level versus U8, U10, U12, where everybody wants to be part of the family and they want to be part of the group, and there's a lot of inclusiveness. So just know that and keep that in mind. So, one of the big things I was talking about is the sales strategy and the marketing strategy. Like I said, I'm going to figure out today how to get you my webinar on this. It is part of our Teachable series, and it's all part of our educational process, and I think it'll be extremely helpful for any parent that's watching this. I did offer it a few months ago. I think it's time to offer it again. So with that said, I didn't want to spend all day or go through a long video on this, but I just wanted to make sure we reached out and said, hey, look, that's a tough situation to be in. You can educate and you can build a process inside your program, and you can be known for a program that kicks out kids that are extremely professional in the rink, that have great polite manners, that are doing things very effectively. I should say though, unlike a salesman, now a salesman is taught, a professional salesman is taught, drip, 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 keep going back, look for objections. That doesn't necessarily work with the coaches at the next level. So if a kid approaches me and sends me an email and I don't respond right away, that can happen to some players where the coach only responds when there's a need. So first of all, he might keep all the emails of people that reached out to him and only email them when the next pre-draft skate comes up, or the next main camp skate comes up, or main camp comes up. And he might email all those kids at that time and say, hey, if you're interested, we'll have you come out. Or he might cull through that list and find the ones that look on paper like they're actually decent enough to skate in their camp. But not all coaches respond right away, and not all coaches respond to emails. They might put your name down, and then if they know they're going to be in the same spot you're at, they might watch you. Then they might respond to you. So your emails are working, or could be working, that you could get put on that list of potential players. Usually this is an assistant coach, assistant general manager. Sometimes the head coach does this. But, oh, by the way, you're emailing all these people if you're doing your contacts. But remember, the marketing mix includes, if there's a part on the website that you can fill out and say, I'm interested in being a prospective player. It's the GM, it's assistant GM, it's the coach, it's the assistant coach, and if you're goalie, also the goalie coach. You're reaching out to all of them. Okay, now once you've made a reach out to all of them, and that reach out could be through email, could be through snail mail, or both, okay, you're putting up a 30 to 60 minute video on YouTube and you're attaching that to whatever you do. Okay, then you wait. You're not just blasting away weekly. You give it 3 or 4 weeks, and then maybe you reach out again. Okay, then you get an idea if they're not responding at all. That's fine. That's fine. You just keep dripping. But if you get a response, and this is where it's different than sales, if you get a response, they say, hey, look, we're not interested at this time, it's time to stop. Okay, it's time to stop. Now, if they say, hey, look, we watched you on tape, we think that you need to work on getting bigger and stronger. Now, you've got something you can work on. Go out and get bigger and stronger. Then send them another one. Hey, coach, Yeah, you mentioned that you wanted me bigger and stronger. Here's a before and after picture of when I weighed 135. I'm 195 now. I'm ready for you. And you show them your big neck and you walk into the video screen. I'm joking on that. You don't have to send video of how big you got. But the point is, if he says, hey, look, we think you can play at this level, you still need 15 or 20 games in your belt. Well, play 20 more games and send him another email. Okay, say, hey, coach, I played another 20 games. I'm still interested. But whatever the objection is, you've got to work on fixing that objection. You can't just keep dripping on them. But if a coach says, no, I'm not interested, find another team. Move on. Okay, there's plenty of teams out there at the next level up. Just move on to the next coach. Move on to the next program. And it shouldn't be just a one team at a time process anyway. You reach out to 30. If 3 give you absolute no's, take them off the list, okay? Now, they could change their mind. That happens all the time. They could see you play again and say, hey, we're interested. Okay, and it's ironic sometimes when you get a no and then 2 weeks later they watch you play and then now they're interested because you feel a little bit empowered there at that point. But anyway, I wanted to get on and talk about this a little bit and talk about the process. You can build a process. You got to be realistic in your actual goals and in assessing your talent. And let's move on. So I don't know if anybody's got anything question-wise or not. Real quick, I'll hold on for a little bit before I go if there's a question or two that come up. If not, I appreciate y'all coming on. I'm going to try to tag this into that whatever you call it, the discussion trail, the mix of discussion that was going on there, the lineage, and I'll try to put it on there. If I can't get it on there, I'll leave it up on the discussion group. But once again, this is exclusive just to the discussion group. This is not in lieu of what we do on Sunday nights. I thought I'd just attack this one specific issue, and hopefully it helped. If you're not satisfied with this, it's the best I got, so I can't really help you there. I don't see any questions coming in right now, so since there's no questions coming in right now, feel free to ask me questions on this. Murray, I hope this helped a little bit. Some of the other people that were discussing this, and there was a few parents that wanted to be a part of the discussion and were looking for some answers. Jump on and get involved in some more interaction on there. And everybody have an awesome day, and we'll see you soon.